So today on Project Shop we have this massive pile of transformers here, and today copper's the name of the game. We're looking for all the copper, and unfortunately all these brand new ballasts in the box, they are on the chopping block along with a bunch of other stuff. So we're going to get these up on the table. I might sort through some, maybe keep the 1000 watters if I find some. But I think most of these are going to be like 400s, 250s, 175s, pretty much all these small ones. No one's really interested in them. Any of these small lights out there, if the ballast goes bad, it's cheaper just to buy an LED and replace it, and that's pretty much what they've been doing. So the fact that we got any transformers left at this point is amazing. But once I get them on the table, we got another issue to deal with. Last time I ran the press, I cracked this right here. So we need to pull this out, pull this plate off, grind that back, see if I can't squeeze that together a little bit, because otherwise we're going to be doing what we got going on here. This side has broken so many times, I just welded it right in place, and it just, every time it break, it would lean back further and further and further, and then we have this situation going on. This is actually the first time this side is broken since I built this probably 13 years ago, which is pretty incredible. And as you can see, this side has been broken many times. And there used to be some big wheels I had out here, which were pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna go over here. We're gonna start getting these up on the table. It's really unfortunate because these things are literally brand new. But this contractor, he said this is probably, if you had to buy this, I don't know, $10,000 worth of ballast that nobody wants, nobody can use. Or I don't know if it's that much, but it's a couple $1,000s worth of ballast sitting here that we're going to scrap out because nobody wants them. Except for the Copper King. Copper King wants all the ballast. All right, man, we got a nice little nugget. So most of those were double copper. There was some one aluminum, one coppers, but hey, what are you gonna do? Now I know someone's probably crying somewhere, I could have sold these for so much more, but you know what? I literally paid $150 for these from an electrician because he didn't want it, and he has another office. Okay, and the reason why he didn't bring them to his other office, they couldn't warranty these, or whatever the reason was, which didn't make no sense to me. But hey, they're here, they're gonna get ran to the press, but unfortunately, we gotta do a little maintenance on the press. Last time I ran it, I broke something. Let's see what we got here. What we have here is a badly cracked thing. So we're just gonna go ahead and pop this thing out of here. Now, I think I can get it out without moving this, because I got that pin taped on there. There we go. I can get a better idea what's going on. This thing is nasty. This is a combination of hydraulic oil and the shellac insulation fiberglass stuff that's on here. Whatever that is. That's why whenever you see me running this press, I always wear a respirator, safety goggles, and earmuffs, because one, it sounds like a dang shotgun going off right here, and two, when it explodes, all that dust just goes airborne. Now I do have fans right there pulling directly out of the building, and I always put a fan right here blowing straight across. So normally, like even when I'm talking to you guys and I don't have the respirator on, I can't even smell it, because before it even gets to me, it's getting blown off and away. So we need to get this fixed, because we got a nugget to contend with over here. We're gonna go get this over on the welding table. Okay. Whoop. For those of you who don't know what this is basically a piece of C-channel that was wide enough to slide over the press. And these were 2 angle irons that I welded to it with some gussets. These were core drill bits, 2-inch core drill bits, and I basically used them for the thread. And this was some big old all thread that I had. And like I said earlier, originally I had wheels out here to turn. And the bottom of this thing has a rib. There's a plate that fits, because there's 2, wow, that cracked, that pulled this whole thing up right here. Interesting. Wow, it's cracked all over, man. This thing's bad. I might have to break out the big welder on this. I don't know. This thing's gonna have to get rebuilt completely out of like 1/2-inch plate. This was never strong enough from the get-go. I kept adding. First I added these, then I added this plate here with a rib, and it had to be skinny enough to fit in the 2 plates that are on the in between the 2 ribs that are on the machine. And then on the press, I actually welded a bar down here that this presses against, but it's just you're talking about, this is something I built 13 years ago and has probably, gosh, I can't even tell you, man, hundreds of thousands of transformers this thing has cracked. We need to get an air blower, blow this off, see what we got. Okay, now we can better assess the damage, and there's a lot. Okay, so this crack broke right through, peeled that whole thing right off, which I guess that means my weld was pretty good, that the weld held. It just literally cracked the whole base. Now this one here, this seems like it cracked all along here. Looks like some cracking going on over here, which I'm not surprised. That's typically, I probably get a year and a half out of this thing before I would have to, like, it's hard to tell, but all up in here, that's all been welded and reground. You can see over here where that weld is. This is all cracked up, cracked. It's just from that constant flex. This just isn't thick enough. That plate really needs to be like 1 inch thick or more. And we wouldn't have hardly any of this problem. But this is what I had. Like, I literally scrounged this up out of scrap metal that was at my job when I used to cut concrete. We had a bunch of steel out back, and this was just in a pile of steel that was literally on its way to the scrap yard. So I pulled some choice pieces out. These core drills were used, burned up bits, and I just needed the you know, like a big nut basically. I think I might have paid for this all thread. And then these were just washers I welded on here. I'm surprised that one's still, look how bowed back that is. That's funny. This one's been gone. And originally I had bolts sticking up with springs, and the whole reason for, let me show you, the whole reason for that, yeah, this one still has it. This one broke off. That explosive decompressor is some serious stuff, breaking welds. But what used to happen over here is there was a pin going through here that the back side of this would catch the pin, and when I would move it, open it up, it would pull on the bottom of the pin and the spring would pull on the top. So there was always tension like this, and then that would just push on the bottom and it would pull it back and forward, and I never had to touch it, you know, because right now I have to get in there and push it with my hands. It was actually really nice when it was originally made, but it's definitely been broke hard and put up extremely wet. So fortunately, I'm gonna have to try to take this off, which is always a nightmare because usually these threads get messed up, and normally I take a punch and punch on there. I think I might have to take this out and literally just hit it with the pressure cleaner and degrease it a little bit. This thing is so trash, it's not even really worth repairing too much because I just need to make a new one. But that's not going to happen tonight. I just need to get this thing kind of back on its feet for a couple hours, and then we'll worry about it. I mean, even this guide bar came up back here. That's crazy. All right, that's what we got. We put a good bead on that. We put a bead across. I put a huge blob right here to connect that down there. I welded underneath, and then I had to grind it down so it's not gonna be a high spot when this thing sits. So, being that this is the first time I've had to weld this side, hopefully nothing happens, and then I got this back on there, and these have to be adjusted just right. Like, you gotta adjust these so that there's enough tension, or just they're loose enough to where this slides. You know, it's actually kind of tight right now, but you don't want it doing this. You know, that's actually good right there. This little one up front could probably use a little twist, but we'll see how it goes. I think that's good. Hopefully we don't run into any issues. We got a ton of transformers to crack. Oh, and I also had a problem with my welder. I was leaking gas from this line down here. Looks like someone smacked something happened. It got smacked. I had to cut this brass off and then cut the hose back because the hose had a hole in it, and then put a hose clamp on it. Seems to be good. It's not leaking. I originally was going to use the 110 welder, but I needed to lay down a bunch of bead really quick. And nothing lays bead down like this big old, this is a 250, I think. A Millermatic 250 or something, 250X. Yeah, this thing's a beast, man. This thing loves welding. So it would have taken me forever to put that much bead down with a little 110 welder, because that thing you just got to weld like an inch or two and stop, and then weld an inch or two and stop. This thing you can just weld non-stop. So anyway, we're gonna get this up on the thing and start cracking transformers. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. We got this thing all dialed in, back together. Got 1,000 water in there and a whole pile. Don't got a lot of 1,000 waters, but they're double stacked back there. And we got more of these than anything, but a lot of these are double coppers. Hopefully we'll fill this copper bin up. I'm saying we might get 300 pounds. What do you think?
I think 250.
250?
Yeah.
Okay. We got our original dolly. When I first made this press, probably 13 or 14 years ago now, the way it was in my shop, this table was all the way in the back and there was no access but a small path. So I had to have a nice dolly where I could pull this out, and it actually has an eye hook somewhere. There it is. I would put a chain on that eye hook down there, and I would drag it down with the forklift up out of here. This one I was able to get with the barrel clamp. But this dolly I made out of a saw blade. That's an old saw cutting blade, probably like a 30-inch, and some just flat stock, and these were actually angles that I welded. Pretty much all stuff I had on hand. I did buy the casters. Yeah, it's been working great. So one day I'll have to make another one for this, but I don't really do this that much over here anymore, so who knows. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if she's gonna break on the first one. Back in the day when I used to run a bunch of air over hydraulics, I could break one transformer or 100, and I would blow those air over hydraulic jacks up. So I always had like 5 of them under the table ready to go.
You're evolving.
Yeah. Alright. Now it always takes about 10 or 15 of these to get in a good rhythm. Once you start blowing through them, man, it goes fast. Oh, probably a good idea to have ear protection. So far, so good. These brand new ones are going to give me problems. And it looks like half copper, half aluminum. Run the machine on the new ones. They're glued good.
I don't know.
That machine's almost twice as fast as run the machine on all of them. You should be able to more than keep up. Cracking brand new ballast, there's really no dust. A little bit of glue you gotta deal with, but we'll overcome that. My hammer soon. This is where the hammer comes in. can't believe the camera's still on. What do we got? 37 minutes on the camera. That's how long it took me to crack that many transformers. We almost got a quarter of a drum. There's a ton of aluminum, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
Dang.
But we're putting a lot of copper in this.
I knew that was going to be a deal. So, out of all of them, I only had 2 delaminate. And they look like they're the exact same brand. I have problems with these all the time. Not so much the bigger ones, but when the smaller ones, this brand, you can always tell they have the little yellow tape, and the way I've done so many transformers and so many of them, like I can look at each one and tell like the different manufacturers almost just by the way they're designed and the way they act in the press. These are double coppers. So, all right, I'm gonna take a break, get a drink. I'm gonna readjust the machine. So the big 1000 watters and the 400 watters, they're the same width, so there's nothing I have to adjust with the machine. These are a lot smaller. The only thing I gotta do is crank these in. I got an aluminum bar here for a spacer. And yeah, we'll get set up on a time lapse on this so I can crank some music and really get, now I'm like really dialed in. Now we can pump it out, man. 30 minutes of doing this. Imagine doing this for like 8 hours a day. Oh man, we got a straggler back here.
How much time do you take in 8 hours? Yeah.
Lots. I've done it before. A couple $1,000.
Oh,
Easy.
8 hours?
One tried to slip by. Alright. Be right back. Oh, I got a solid, almost half a barrel of steel. Now, I started out with 2 brand new barrels and brand new barrels of copper and aluminum, so I can weigh everything and know how much steel, copper, and aluminum we did. And how fast. It's 40 minutes now. I'll check the time. It's late. It's probably like 11 or 12 at night. All right, there you have it. We blew through them pretty quick. It actually took about hour and 40 minutes, almost 2 hours. We did find some stragglers that need to be cut, and but we got like almost 3/4 of a barrel of steel on that end, about 2/3 on this one. We got a solid 2/3 bucket of copper. I'm gonna have to up my thing to about 500 pounds maybe, or what did I say, 300? We might be at 400 now. I know a full barrel to the top is about 800, so we're between, I'd say, maybe 450 right now on the high end. And then we got this bucket here about 1/3 of the way with aluminum coils. That sucks because that would have definitely got us up to about over 2/3 or 3/4, but it is what it is. Steve's over here. He's going to mess around with some of this tedious stuff that we burnt in the incinerator. I don't know if we're going to be doing this again. It looks like we might have screwed ourselves on some of the stuff, but this has got a lot of nuggets.
Nuggies.
So, and where'd that little piece go? That's silver. There was a couple little pieces of silver that were like, there's just silver and copper and everything just mixed in here. I suggest just pouring this out on the table and running the mag over it. Melt that thing, melted aluminum.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna actually melt some aluminum in there. Look at these big chunks of aluminum, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Wow, that looks cool.
It got hot in there, man.
So we could set up a grate and just let the aluminum melt through it.
Yeah.
You know, all that iron aluminum stuff we get.
Yeah.
Depending on the ratio. I mean, if there's a point where it's probably better to sell it at 15 cents a pound. You get that 15 cents for that heavy steel. It's better than breaking it down and getting 6.
Yeah.
Like these transformers here. Or I got a bunch of other ones around here. Anyway, I'm gonna take a break. We're gonna let Steve play with this stuff. Do whatever he wants to do out here and make a mess.
I'm gonna pour that out and
Hit it with the magnet.
I'll pull 50 pounds out of there.
Good luck, dude. That was a lot of breakers. So anyway, we'll come back at it here in a little bit and weigh this, see if we're on track. All right, we're back at it. It's another day. We got an absolute mess over here. Last night, we kind of messed with this bucket of stuff we burned in the incinerator. We didn't burn these, but I guess Steve just threw them in there. Here's the deal with that, which we learned. The incinerator actually got hot enough to where it either melted away or some of the silver pieces actually came off. There's supposed to be like a big silver piece right here. It's not there. Same with this. Some of these things are missing the silver. It looks like that one like melted away. Look at that. That's crazy. Some of them held on. And I don't know, there's a bunch of little like pieces in here of melted, like, is that silver? I have no idea. Is it aluminum? Who knows? So it's kind of just like a mixed bag of crap at this point. You know, I don't even know what that is. We sifted it with a magnet and spread it out. It was kind of tedious, man. And then there's a lot of other stuff in there. I don't know why it looks like so much dirt, but I'm thinking maybe washing it on the sluice real quick and might give us a better idea what's in there. I tried to heat this up with my little Bernzomatic, like a MAP gas torch. Didn't get hot enough to push it off. I did just go get acetylene and oxygen for my big cutting torch. So we'll mill through this before I put it in a copper bucket and get some of the whatever big chunks of silver we can off of there. And then we got this thing here, which I'm pretty sure was full of stuff like this. I think these are big silver nuggets at the end. Yeah, those are silver nuggets. More silver nuggets. And then just a bunch of, I think all these clips, I think this is just all like #2 copper. So we're gonna do a little bit of micro scrapping today, but that'll be for another video. What I'm gonna do is clean up in here a little bit. I'm gonna weigh the copper, weigh the steel and the aluminum, and see how much we made in 2 hours. Now I had paid 150 bucks for all them new transformers, and then I already got my money back on them other ones. They came with other loads. I just kept piling them up there. If I had $100 in them other ones, I'd be surprised. I mean, I already made my money back on that stuff. So let's just call it 250 bucks I had invested in them transformers. So I'm gonna make some room here so I can get the forklift over here, and we're gonna weigh it up and see what we got. But in the meantime, let's weigh this bucket here, because even though I'm gonna pull some of that silver, the bigger chunks of silver off, this is pretty much just ready to go into the bucket. And I'm gonna see what we did. I don't remember how long this took, but dag, 27 pounds. I think it's like $3.40 or $3.50 a pound right now for number 2. So, you know, it's like a $70 bucket, man. Not bad. Okay, so we scrounged around. We found some more transformers. A couple here. There's the ones over there that need to be cut. Found some copper. There was some copper pipe. We're gonna go through some of this stuff today. It's just, I need to get rid of this chaos. It's always chaos over here, man. No matter how much I try cleaning up, we always have a chaotic situation at Project Shop. Okay, on the first barrel of steel that was under the second press, we got 1,033 pounds. So we most likely went through a ton of transformers.
Oh yeah, you got at least that much in your barrel.
So that's 19 pounds on that.
Oh. 1,000 even.
Wow.
Yeah, over time. You're right.
All right, let's get that scale off of there.
Watch your back.
Yeah.
Good?
Wow, I felt this forklift move, man.
Still ring in the rim of this bucket?
No. That clamp is actually specifically made to pick up a 1,000-pound plastic drum with no top. That's what it's designed for. But I've picked up 1,500, 1,800 pounds. It works better. It's kind of sketchy at 15 and 18. When you put a steel ring on it, then it's no problem at all. Hear that clunk, bro? There's something going on with this transmission. The mounts are probably bad. When I back down that ramp and I hit the brakes, I can feel it. I said 450 yesterday.
461, 459, 459, 460.
459 minus 29. Okay, this is what we got on that. We had 1,995 pounds of prepared steel at 8 cents a pound. 159.60. We had 100 pounds of cast aluminum, 65 cents a pound, $65. And we had 430 pounds of number 2 copper at $3.50 a pound for $15.05, for a total of $1729.60 that we recovered in 2 hours. So that came out to about $864 an hour. Now we did have $150 I paid for some of that, and then the rest of that stuff came in with all them lights that I paid 15 cents a pound for. So we pretty much got them things dirt cheap, and we pulled them out of the light fixtures. So I can't really say exactly how much I paid for them, but I doubt I paid more than $100 for the rest of those. Maybe 100, so let's just call it 300 bucks. So, you know, we could say we probably did like 1,400 when it was all said and done, which isn't bad, even though we had a ton of aluminum in there. So if you've come this far, thanks for watching. Stay tuned because we're about to do some massive micro scrapping, and we got a new tool here in the shop. We're going to try and cut these transformers that we would normally grind.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how that works. Eventually, I have another bandsaw, a big one that I want to get for cutting transformers and AC coils. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard.
Watch it. Look, it's dancing. You ever seen your copper dance before?